Ever since EA gained the license for Star Wars games, things have just been embarrassing for them. So when I first heard that they were publishing their third Star Wars game, this time by a different developer, I was still skeptical since the Battlefront games were made by freaking morons. So, did EA make a very poor choice again? Nah, it's actually pretty good. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. When I first saw the previews for this game, I kinda labeled it as a spiritual successor to the old Jedi Knight games. You know, Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast. But nope, it's completely different. One of my favorite moments from this game happens right when you boot it up. Right on the menu screen, you are immediately told how the story starts. A destroyed Republic cruiser with a single escape pod lingering out in space? That tells you our main protagonist is in that escape pod, and it's brilliant. And you also get a taste of the music. I mean, listen to that music. Seriously, John Williams? Is that you? I now have something else to hum to, rather than that My Little Pony theme. Very sad that Friendship is Magic is over, though. I mean, why did they have to end it so soon? Just because of those leaks back in 2017? But, enough about that. Let's talk about the game. It's fun. Using the Force has such a satisfying feel to it. It actually feels like Cal Kestis, the main character of the game, is putting some effort into it. And then of course, there's your lightsaber. It may feel heavy in this game, but it's still satisfying to swing it, even when just deflecting blaster bolts back at stormtroopers. And sure, deflecting bolts back at enemies is the most efficient way, but where's the fun in that? The game challenges you to be as creative with your skills as possible. Go ahead. Shoot the rocket. See what happens. Nope. And then of course, there's the difficulty. I played through this game twice. The first time was on Jedi Master difficulty because it seemed the most balanced. But boy, was I wrong.
Toss me one, BD.
Yeah, stay down.
Even the death screen doesn't want you to forget who made this game. And then, on my second playthrough, I played it on Jedi Knight difficulty and whooped the game's behind. But the real question is, which difficulty did I have the most fun with? I wasn't lying before. Jedi Master really was the most balanced experience and was so difficult but fair that I never felt like I could never beat it. I guess this is the opportunity to mention my shortcomings as a reviewer. I freaking hate difficult games. Pretty much throw any Dark Souls game in my face and I'll toss it into an incinerator. However, this game's difficulty was tough but fair. In fact, the difficulty made this game more fun to me. And that's what I look for in a good game. A challenge that is fun to try. And speaking of Dark Souls, this game uses the bonfire save system. Throughout the game, you'll find meditation spots where you can save your progress, and resting at these spots refills your health, force, and healing stims, but also respawns enemies, i.e. Dark Soul, and you can use your earned skill points to unlock new skills for Cal. However, of course, dying makes you lose all of your XP, but unlike Dark Souls, this game has a system where if you go back to where you died and strike the enemy that killed you, you get all your XP back. And as a bonus, it completely heals you. This is rather useful, especially when you're in a room with tons of enemies. However, this is one of those games where you have to save as often as you can, not just because you could die if you don't rest. This game uses a lot of futile backtracking through the maps, and there's no fast travel system. Look at this. I'm at the furthest point on the planet Ilum. Let's see how long it takes for me to get back to the ship. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Of course, Ilum is the smallest map in the game. Now imagine backtracking through Dathomir. Not that backtracking is a huge hassle, because the holo maps are actually very useful. They're very straightforward and tells you where you can go and where you can't. The holo maps also save you a lot of hassle by showing you where you haven't been, telling you that's where you probably need to go in order to progress. So you never really feel lost unless you are stuck on puzzles. Which brings up my next topic of this review. Zelda-like dungeons are a refreshing take for Star Wars. There are a few puzzles in the dungeons that require a lot of thinking. They offer a lot of distraction from combat in the overworld. Even though there are enemies inside, there are plenty of puzzles to keep you busy. For example, in the first dungeon, you have to use wind panels a lot to push these energy ball things around, because there are some cases that the wind is more powerful than your force push. Being a huge Zelda fan, I really enjoyed these parts of the game. However, the dungeons and even the overworld grind to a halt because of something that's in almost every modern EA game. You all know what I'm talking about. I probably should note that all the footage you're seeing was captured on a normal PS4, so this isn't exactly the best look for the game. But I've heard that a lot of technical problems are found on the PS4 Pro, Xbox One, and PC versions as well. There are constant frame dips in this game. It doesn't happen often when you're in combat, but when you're wandering from one area to the next, it goes from 30 FPS to the mid-teens. The planet that this happens the most on, that I've noticed, is Bogano. And there are times when the game will just freeze when it hasn't rendered in the next area. There's also some poor animation transitions, and sometimes the climbing mechanics get a little buggy. How typical. This game was published by EA after all. The story behind this game is incredibly dark. I thought this whole game would be Cal Kestis running for survival, but then it turns into a scavenger hunt. And the ending makes you think the whole journey was a complete waste.
I know you said it could be overwhelming.
Haven't gotten myself killed yet.
The backtracking and technical problems are a bit tedious. And I would also like to point out that throughout both of my playthroughs of this game, it only crashed on me twice. But you continue to push through because of the triumphant music, the exciting combat, and likable characters. I really think that Cal Kestis is the best Jedi in the galaxy besides Luke. BD-1 is the most adorable droid ever.
Hey, BD-1. I'm Cal.
And Grease is such a funny guy, how could you not like him?
Get off my sofa! Get off my sofa! Don't! Get out of there! Get out!
That is BD-1. He's with us.
I don't care who he's with. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get oil stains out of petroleum fabric?
Not really.
This is one of few EA games within the last few years to not have microtransactions. Every collectible is merely found within the game. You get so many cosmetics in this game for BD-1 and the Mantis. And there are so many customizable options for your lightsaber that later on in the game, if you want to go all Mace Windu, you totally can. The excitement and adventure that you expect in a Star Wars story is here, as well as an arena scene that I will never forget. And we all know that the best way to deal with stormtroopers is by force pushing them off a cliff.
You made a big mistake, Jedi.
Are you sure about that? I give Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order an 8 out of 10. Finally, EA publishes a Star Wars game that's worth playing. Playing as a Jedi has never felt so cool.